The book of Deuteronomy holds a significant place in the Hebrew Bible. It is the fifth book of the Torah and is often referred to as the second law because it reiterates and expands upon the laws given earlier in the books of Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. It presents a collection of speeches and laws delivered by Moses to the Israelites on the verge of entering the Promised Land. These speeches are not just historical recounts, but are filled with moral and ethical teachings meant to guide the Israelites in their new life. These pronouncements serve as a reminder of the covenant between God and his people. The covenant is a central theme, emphasizing the importance of faithfulness and obedience to God's commandments. They also provide a comprehensive guide for living a life that is pleasing to God. The laws cover various aspects of daily life, including religious rituals, social justice, and personal conduct. Among the many topics covered in Deuteronomy, the laws concerning clean and unclean animals are particularly detailed. These laws were meant to ensure the Israelites maintained ritual purity and adhered to dietary restrictions that set them apart from other nations. The practice of tithing is another significant aspect. Tithing was not just a religious duty, but also a social one, ensuring that the Levites, who had no inheritance of their own, and the poor were provided for. These laws and practices offer valuable insights into the religious and social fabric of ancient Israel. They reflect a society deeply rooted in its faith and committed to living according to divine principles, shaping their identity and community life. Chapter 14 of Deuteronomy delves into the dietary regulations that were to govern the lives of the Israelites. These laws, presented as divine commandments, delineate specific animals that are deemed permissible or forbidden for consumption. The Israelites were instructed to carefully observe these distinctions as a testament to their obedience and loyalty to God. By adhering to these dietary precepts, they would set themselves apart as a holy people, distinct from the surrounding nations. Deuteronomy 14 verses 3-6 provides a clear categorization of animals deemed clean and therefore permissible for consumption by the Israelites. Among land animals, the criteria for cleanliness included chewing the cud and having a divided hoof. This meant that animals like cows, sheep, and goats were considered acceptable sources of food. These animals were all herbivores, subsisting on vegetation, which may have contributed to their designation as clean. In addition to land animals, Deuteronomy 14 extends its dietary guidelines to include specific aquatic creatures. Verse 9 states, "These you may eat of all that are in the waters. Everything that has fins and scales you may eat." This categorization allowed the Israelites to partake in fish that possessed these specific physical characteristics. Examples of permitted fish likely included species commonly found in the Mediterranean Sea, such as tuna, salmon, and sardines. Section 5, unclean animals forbidden as food. In contrast to the animals deemed clean, Deuteronomy 14 verses 7-8 enumerates those considered unclean and therefore forbidden for consumption. This list includes animals such as pigs, camels, and rabbits. The criteria for uncleanliness often related to an animal's diet or physical characteristics. For instance, pigs, known for their omnivorous diet, were deemed unfit for consumption. Section 6, unclean animals, examples and their significance. The prohibition against consuming certain animals extended beyond land-dwelling creatures. Deuteronomy 14 verse 10 states, "And all that do not have fins and scales you shall not eat. They are unclean for you." This encompassed a wide range of aquatic life, including shellfish, eels, and sharks. The consumption of these creatures was strictly prohibited, reinforcing the Israelites' distinct identity and their adherence to divine law. Section 7. The rationale behind dietary laws, purity, holiness, and identity. The dietary laws outlined in Deuteronomy 14 served a multifaceted purpose within the context of ancient Israelite society. One prominent interpretation is that these regulations were intended to promote purity and holiness among the Israelites. By consuming only clean animals, they were symbolically separating themselves from anything considered impure or profane. This emphasis on ritual purity was deeply intertwined with their covenant with God, who demanded holiness from his chosen people. Section 8, Tithing in Deuteronomy, a sacred obligation. Alongside the dietary laws, Deuteronomy 14 also emphasizes the importance of tithing as a fundamental practice in the Israelites' relationship with God. Tithing involved setting aside 1/10 of their agricultural produce, grain, wine and oil, as well as a portion of their livestock. This practice served as a tangible expression of gratitude for God's blessings and acknowledged His sovereignty over their lives and livelihoods. Section 9, the purpose of tithing, supporting the Levites and celebrating abundance. The tithes collected from the Israelites were designated for specific purposes. A significant portion was allocated to the Levites, the priestly tribe who dedicated themselves to the service of the tabernacle and later the temple. This provision ensured their sustenance and acknowledged their vital role in maintaining the religious life of the community. Tithing also facilitated communal feasts and celebrations, fostering a spirit of unity and gratitude among the Israelites. Section 10, Provisions for Distance ensuring inclusivity in tithing. Deuteronomy 14, verses 22 to 29, addresses the practical challenges faced by Israelites living far from the designated place of worship where tithes were to be brought. This section of the scripture is particularly insightful as it highlights the importance of inclusivity and adaptability in religious practices. The text recognizes that long distances and geographical constraints might hinder some from transporting their agricultural produce. It acknowledges the reality of the Israelites' daily lives, where traveling long distances with heavy loads of produce could be impractical and burdensome. In such cases, they were permitted to convert their tithe into silver and then use the money to purchase food and drink at the central sanctuary. This conversion process was a thoughtful solution, allowing the faithful to fulfill their religious obligations without undue hardship. This provision ensured that all Israelites, regardless of their location, could participate in the practice of tithing and partake in the communal celebrations. It fostered a sense of unity and community as everyone, no matter how far they lived from the sanctuary, could join in the festivities and worship together. This approach not only maintained the spiritual integrity of tithing, but also promoted social cohesion and inclusivity within the Israelite community. Section 11, Conclusion. The enduring legacy of Deuteronomy's laws. The laws concerning clean and unclean animals, as outlined in Deuteronomy, were not merely dietary restrictions. They were deeply symbolic, reflecting the Israelites' understanding of purity and their relationship with the divine. The practice of tithing, as presented in Deuteronomy 14, was more than an economic transaction. It was a spiritual act, a way for the Israelites to acknowledge God's provision and to support the community, especially the Levites, who had no inheritance of their own. These practices offer a glimpse into the intricate tapestry of ancient Israelite religion and society. They reveal a community deeply connected to their land, their God, and each other. These regulations, rooted in the covenant between God and His people, served as tangible expressions of obedience, purity, and gratitude. They were a constant reminder of the Israelites' unique identity and their special relationship with the divine. The laws were not just about individual piety, but about creating a just and holy society. They emphasized communal responsibility and the importance of living in harmony with God's will. While the specific dietary laws may no longer be binding for all faith traditions, their influence persists. The principles of mindful consumption and ethical eating continue to resonate with many people today. The idea of being mindful about what we consume, recognizing the sacredness of food, and making ethical choices about our diet is a legacy that endures. These practices remind us to be grateful for our sustenance and to consider the broader impact of our dietary choices on our health, the environment, and society. The communal aspect of meals, the sharing of food, and the gratitude expressed in blessings before eating are traditions that continue to bring people together, fostering a sense of community and shared values. Similarly, the concept of tithing, though interpreted and practiced diversely across different faiths, remains a powerful expression of generosity and communal responsibility. Tithing is not just about giving money, it's about recognizing our interconnectedness and our duty to support one another. It reflects a commitment to the well-being of the community and the acknowledgement of a higher power. This practice endures as a testament to the importance of generosity, communal responsibility, and acknowledging a higher power. It encourages us to look beyond our own needs and to contribute to the greater good. The spiritual principles underlying these laws continue to inspire people of various faiths to live lives of integrity, compassion, and service. The legacy of Deuteronomy's laws is not confined to ancient history. It continues to shape ethical, social, and spiritual values in the modern world. These ancient teachings influence contemporary discussions on ethics, justice, and community. They remind us of the enduring importance of living in accordance with our values and beliefs. In a world that is increasingly interconnected, the principles of Deuteronomy offer timeless wisdom on how to build a just and compassionate society. They challenge us to consider how we can apply these ancient teachings to address modern issues and to create a better future for all.